I think I was effective in communicating the purpose because measurement is a very usable tool for students, and talking about area and perimeter, they have some kind of familiarity with it, but at the same time you can see a lot of pukas in where they're thinking or where they're misunderstanding. So I believe that today is pretty effective in just getting them to grasp again what area and perimeter were. I think the best part about today's lesson was being able to survey the room and see where they're getting it, where they're not getting it, be able to talk one-on-one with them or two-on-one, and that dialogue, because it is difficult to just go through a workbook and kind of get everything down when students are struggling in different areas. Some students were very quick in it, some students were slower, and that personalization was necessary. Organization plays a definite role in this. Students should know expectations. Like, they walk into class, they should be starting their math review. It was a Friday. Many of them looked distracted, but that's because, there's senior prom bid sales going on and other things going on in the school that take their mind away from class. But they all did know, I have to pick up my math review. If I told them, what should you be doing? They do know. They should know that their homework should be done and when it gets checked. And we have these roles, or these organizational things set in place for that, so that they are not surprised by anything that happens. And I think just being able to know what's going on and what to expect throughout the day is comfortable for them. It plays a role. On a Friday, it plays a definite role. I was so upset at my students who were playing pencil fight because I had just talked to them on Wednesday about how not to play it. It's been coming back in vogue. And I've been just talking to them because they take my pencils and they play pencil fight. Granted, those are not mine, so that they thought it was fine. But at the same time, most of the students know that when I get on them for their behavior, it's because they're distracting themselves and they're distracting others. So it's not a surprise that I would constantly stay on them for those kind of things. In regards to engagement, the lesson went okay. Some of the questions were kind of esoteric for the students because although we're trying to make it very contextual, it's things that they have never encountered in life. They don't know what molding is or siding, and things that we as adults think is so commonplace because we use them, so contextually makes sense for us. It doesn't always filter down to students. But at the same time, we are giving them opportunities to experience new things and things that they will eventually have to learn, so better to learn it in school than later. And in that way, I felt that while they were doing their homework, after the lesson ended, they were more engaged and they asked pertinent questions. So in that, I saw some engagement, yeah. Again, the students found the lesson meaningful and relevant because we are talking about actual things that happen. They have a connection with grandma, therefore they have a connection with Uncle George when they talk about him, and they are using their math skills, and I don't think they're even recognizing they're pulling the math skills from first through kindergarten through 8th to 9th grade, as well as math skills that they've learned throughout the year. So I think that they found that to be meaningful to them. To develop the lesson, first off, I think there's some typographical issues that I have to work on. Just the setup and how it flowed through the day. I think that when I had written it, I had envisioned something different, and what happened was a little bit, it wasn't really making sense to students where this flow was happening. And I think that perimeter needs to go before area and so forth, because they have to understand 1 dimension versus 2 dimensions. And making that jump just to area was a bit much for them. So I'll probably redesign the lesson to change it around a bit.